Hey sweet friends, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming. If you are new, if you are not new here, thank you so much for returning and sticking around for another video. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than my typical videos. It's not planning related or anything like that. It's more life related. I'm going to be giving you guys a real raw 2-month update on how Gatlin is doing at 2 months old, how I am doing 2 months postpartum, and just kind of how everything has been going for us. It is going to be a very just raw, open video with you guys. So I say that just putting myself out there because some of the things I'm going to talk about in this video are very touchy subjects. So if it's something that might trigger you or anything, definitely don't watch this video. I am going to be talking about just kind of how the transition has gone for us is not being super easy. I'm going to be talking about some postpartum depression things, just different medical issues. So if any of that might trigger you, I just want to say up front, don't watch this video because I am going to be very raw and open with you guys and share pretty much everything on how things have been going. So just wanted to throw that out there to begin with, but either way, let's go ahead and just get right into the video. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to start with is actually the happier of all the notes, and that's just how Gatlin is doing. He is growing like a weed, and I know everybody says that, but it is so true. Like now that I have my own baby, I see how quick time goes by. I cannot believe that he's already 2 months old. I'm not sure when you guys will see this, but he turned 2 months old on October 10th. So I am just shocked, honestly. I cannot believe how fast time has gone by. The days have felt like they drag on forever, but looking back, those 2 months feel like they went by in a snap. So I cannot believe it, but he is doing super well. We had his 2-month-old checkup on Monday evening, which is when he turned 2 months old. He is weighing in a little over 12 pounds, which is great. That's way far up from his birth weight. He is doing awesome there. They are very proud of his weight gain and what we've been doing to do that. He is a very tall little boy. He is almost 2 feet tall already. He's 23.5 inches long. I guess I should say long because he's not really standing, so tall sounds weird to say, but he's 23.5 inches long, which is in like the 75th percentile on their like range of stuff. So they definitely think he's going to be a tall kiddo. So I'm excited about that. I think that's going to be awesome for him. So yeah, he's taller, he's gaining weight, he's doing everything just like he should be doing there. He absolutely loves to do tummy time right now. We still are using our Love Every play kit, which I've talked about in a couple videos. If you have not ever checked them out, I definitely recommend it. He has hands down loved his play kit that he got from the newborn stage. It has lots of black and white cards in it, black and white books, some little mittens that are black and white, just lots of high contrast things, and he absolutely adores them. So we do a lot of tummy time when we're here at home. He loves to do that. He also loves to do, like, I'll prop him up and read him a story. He loves to just listen and look at the book. Obviously I know he can't really see all the colors and everything yet, but he loves to just like look at the book. He's starting to get to the point where he'll like, the TV will catch his eye, or if the ceiling fan is going, he will like just sit and stare at the ceiling fan and watch it go around. So things like that are starting to catch his eye. He loves to be outside. Outside time is like his favorite time of the day. He's very calm when we're outside usually, unless something's wrong, obviously like it's time to eat or something. But other than that, he's very just relaxed outside. He just really likes to hang out and be outside. So we are definitely enjoying him. He loves to get kisses. Mommy kisses on him a lot. Love to like kiss on his little neck. It's so warm and just like squishy. He has so many little neck rolls. He's a chubby little boy. He's just a rolly all over. I tell him that he kind of looks like the little Michelin Man a little bit because like in his arm, like he has like 2 rolls like right here, so it's like a bunch of little rolls just everywhere. So he's super cute though. We are just adoring our time with him. But yeah, he has had a few little issues, one of which I've talked with you guys about before. I think it was in his 1-month update when we found out that he had the problem with his tummy and that muscle between his stomach and his intestines not letting food and everything pass through. We have not had any more issues with projectile vomiting or anything to that effect, so I'm very thankful to God for that he has kind of taken care of that for right now, I say. So I'm just very, very grateful for that. He has started though to have some reflux issues, so he is now having to have just a little bit of the like rice powdery cereal. We mix in like a teaspoon with his bottles, or sometimes a little less than a teaspoon, just to make them a little bit thicker to help everything stay down, because they think he's having some like acid reflux. When he finishes a bottle, he was getting to the point where almost every bottle he would spit up. Even after he would give like burps and everything, he would still spit up. Sometimes up to like 2.5 hours after the bottle, he would spit up. So they definitely thought it was a reflux problem. He was also like, when he would like be done with the bottle, burps and everything, whether he spit up or not, he would make terrible faces while he was asleep. Like he was just tasting something really bad. He would kind of gag almost, like not make noises, but like stick his tongue out like he was gagging. So he was definitely having some reflux issues. We talked to his doctor about it on Monday. They recommended trying the rice cereal. They said that basically there were 2 options. We could try rice cereal in his bottles to see if that would help kind of keep things down a little better and help him out some in that department, or we could go straight to trying some medicine they could put him on for it. I'm not against medicine in any way. Like I'm not that kind of person. I'm not saying that if you are, there's anything wrong with that, but I'm not. Like I'm okay with giving him medicine and him taking medicine to some extent, but I do like to try more like natural things first. So we decided to try the rice cereal as our first option before we jump straight into just giving him a medication every day, or however much we'd have to do it. I'm not really sure. I'd have to talk to them about it, but we tried that, and so far it's helped. He has not been spitting up. He actually has not, knock on wood, spit up one time since we started giving him rice cereal. He's definitely sleeping better. He doesn't seem to have that bad taste in his mouth or anything. The only issue is that the rice cereal, and they told us that this was definitely a possibility, the rice cereal is making him not be able to go to the bathroom like normal, because everything is sitting a little bit longer and is a lot heavier on his stomach. So it's going to take his little tummy some time to get used to it. Obviously he is only 2 months old, so this is not really the age at which they would start getting solid food like that or start getting rice cereal. But it's just kind of, we're trying to just weigh our options, I guess. I feel like that's all parenting is. From what I've learned so far, parenting really is just trial and error. Honestly, I have no clue what I'm doing. Jeremiah has no clue what he's doing. I feel like we just live every day, one day at a time, and we're just figuring things out as we go. Honestly, we're learning Gatlin, we're learning his cues and what he needs and all that kind of stuff, and he, I guess, is having to learn us as well. So I don't know, it's definitely a big learning curve, which kind of talks about our transition time. The transition has gotten a lot easier than when I spoke with you guys at our 1 month update. At that point, we were driving the struggle bus, y'all. We were really struggling. Jeremiah and I both were. We just felt like we had no clue what we were doing. Everything we tried just didn't work for him. He was fussy all the time, which obviously now we know with the reflux issues and things going on that he probably was having some problems at that point, and we just weren't recognizing it then. But since then, things have gotten a lot better. We've gotten in pretty good routines where he will actually nap and sleep at night. So we're doing a lot better in that aspect. I think Jeremiah is starting to enjoy it a lot more now as well, instead of just being super stressed. I know at the very beginning, Jeremiah was not only like just stressed about the transition and taking care of Gatlin, but I myself was having a lot of issues, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. And I still am, but they've gotten a lot better. So I think he's not as worried about just me anymore. I think I was part of like a big part of his problem, and being just stressed out and worried all the time. So I think that everything has just kind of gotten a little bit better, at least in my department. So I feel pretty good about that. But yeah, so that's kind of just a quick 2 month update on how Gatlin is doing. He is doing awesome, and like I said, we are just loving every minute with him. All right, so for the last little section or second section of this video, I'm going to chat a little bit about myself and kind of my journey postpartum now that we're 2 months out, and how I am doing, how I've been doing, and kind of be a little more vulnerable with you guys. I touched on some issues in the first, or in our 1 month video, but I didn't go too in detail. So I want to take a second now and just kind of tell you guys truly what's been going on, how I've been feeling, and kind of where we've come from and where we're at now. So To give you guys a little background in case you did not watch the 1 month video or a birth vlog or anything like that, I had to be induced, sorry, that was my lunch timer thing going off. I had to be induced at 37 weeks because of hypertension. So right at the end of my pregnancy, I started having a lot higher blood pressure. It was going up every week. When I would go in, it would be a little bit higher. So at 37 weeks, on that day, honestly, or that exact day of 37 weeks, they induced me, or they started the induction, and he was born that next morning. Or no, it was the next afternoon, sorry. That doesn't matter though. But either way, point being, I had high blood pressure at the end of my pregnancy. Obviously, the plan with induction was that I would have him and that would help my blood pressure level back out, but that did not happen. It continued to get a lot worse after I had him, to the point where at that point, after we got home, I was starting to have like dizzy spells. I was seeing floaters all the time. I was having headaches. I just felt terrible. Like I could not get control of it. So they ended up putting me on a medication for it. The medication didn't really help at first, so they had to up my dosage. Either way, they eventually got it leveled out, and it has been doing super good. I just had my like 2 month out checkup for the blood pressure. Now, I've already been cleared for my OB and everything, so this was just at my family doctor just for the blood pressure problem. And they checked it that day, and it was like textbook perfect. So the medication is definitely working really well for me. I do hope to come off of it eventually, and I asked them about this when I was there, if I could start maybe trying to take a lower dosage just to start weaning myself off of the medication and see if it really was just a pregnancy-induced thing that now may go away. And they said that they want me to stay on it for the next 3 months. I go back in January for another check. And at that point, if everything is still doing good, I can try to come off of it then. But my doctor did tell me that I should not get my hopes up, basically, that there is a good chance that I just have blood pressure issues. There's a lot of people in my family who have blood pressure issues. That's just something that has happened with us. So because of that, and it being a family, like part of my family history, they said to not get my hopes up that I may have this problem for the rest of my life, basically. So we're going to see. Fingers crossed I can come off that medication, because prior to being pregnant, I did not take medication daily. Like I was not having to be on anything. So hopefully I can come off of that soon, but we'll see. And honestly, if I have to stay on it, then I have to stay on it. I would rather be on medication and feel good than have blood pressure problems like I was having, because that was terrible. But aside from that, I have physically healed from everything. I'm feeling really good physically now. Like I said, blood pressure is doing really good. I've been cleared from the OB to have exercise and all that kind of stuff back. So everything in that department is going really swell. I have lost all of the baby weight. I didn't really gain a lot in my pregnancy. I actually lost right at 20 pounds while I was pregnant. And then in that last like 2 months, I gained all of it back. And then when I went in to have him, I weighed right at what I weighed when I got pregnant. And I have since then lost a little over 20 pounds. So I'm now 20 pounds lighter than I was when I got pregnant, which is great. I feel like just getting pregnant kind of made some lifestyle changes for myself. I started watching what I was eating a lot more because I was pregnant, and I knew that whatever I was giving myself, I was giving my baby. So that definitely helped out some. But yeah, so we're definitely on the road to being a little more fit now because of pregnancy. We do try to like walk and stuff in the afternoon some if we can, and get a little bit of exercise in as well. So I think that's helping out. But yeah, so that's really good news for me. I've always wanted to lose weight. Obviously, I feel like everybody says that, but getting pregnant surprisingly helped me do that. I know that's really weird. That's not how it's supposed to go, but that's how it went for me. So I'll take it, whatever I can get, right? So yeah, everything for the most part has been going really good for me. The one thing that has been a negative since having him is just kind of, I don't want to say my mental health, but really it honestly is. I got diagnosed at my 1 month checkup with postpartum depression. And I say that to say that I didn't experience it the way that other people have experienced it. I feel like postpartum depression is different for everybody, and obviously it is. Most things are. Everything that I like felt and everything is different from the next person who had it. I never had thoughts of suicide or hurting myself or hurting Gatlin or hurting anybody around me. Like that was never something that crossed my mind with it. But I know that a lot of people do struggle with those thoughts, and my prayers go out to them, because I cannot imagine having, dealing with everything else and having those thoughts on top of it. My biggest thing was I could not get over the fact, or like the feeling that I was not doing enough. I constantly felt like I needed to be up doing something. If he was asleep, I had to be moving. I could not rest. I just felt like this constant need to, almost that I was like a failure, I guess. I felt like I could not be the best mom to him if I was not constantly doing something. Like I had to be proving to him and to myself that I could get back into the swing of things quickly. And that was not the case at all. I know when we come home from the hospital, I instantly started trying to get up and move around and do things around the house. Like I did not want to take time to just sit around and recover, because I felt like that made me a failure. If I had to sit on the couch all day and just take care of my baby and that be it, then I was a failure. Like that's how I felt in that moment. And now I know that that is not true at all, that I needed that time to recover, and that had I given myself that time to just recover and watch TV and hold my baby and take care of him and just relax, as much as you can in those first little bit of time. But if I had given myself that time, then I think I would have been a lot better off mentally. I will say, going into having him throughout my pregnancy, I had a lot of issues with just negative thoughts, just feeling like I wasn't enough, that I wasn't doing the right things for him, and just other things going on in my life. You guys know I was at the end of my first year of teaching, which was very stressful. I just had a lot going on in that time that mentally exhausted me, basically, and I was not in the right mental state going into having him and giving birth, and it just got a lot worse. I think having him kind of set it over the edge to where I was going into postpartum depression, basically. So they did put me on medication for it, and I have done a lot better with it. But I just wanted to say that just because you guys see one side of my life on here, you guys see the pretty stickers on the paper that looks nice and looks like I have my life together and I'm planning out the week ahead, like I've got everything together in life. I don't. That is not the truth. That is the farthest from the truth. Yes, I love to plan. I am an organized person. I like to have a clean house. I like to have everything kind of where it needs to be and just have a nice general plan for my life. But that's not always the case, and that can't always happen. So I felt like I just needed to be raw and open with you guys in this video, because I know out there some of you may have dealt with postpartum depression or are dealing with it now or may deal with it in the future, or even just depression in general, not necessarily postpartum depression, but just depression or anxiety or negative thoughts like that. And I want you to know that you are not at all alone. I know that when I say that right now, if you're in the middle of it, that is not helpful at all. People told me that all the time when I was in the thick of it, right at the very beginning of having him, that, oh, you're not alone. Like what you're feeling is normal. That's okay. And yeah, you're not alone, okay? People have felt like this for a long time. People will continue to feel like this after you feel better. But I know that saying that does not help you at all, because it did not help me at all. But it is true. You're not alone. Plenty of people feel that way. And I know when people would tell me that, I kept thinking, like, especially when they would say it's normal. Yes, I knew deep down that I'm not the first person to have a baby. I'm not the first person to have anxiety problems or to be diagnosed with postpartum depression and have those kind of thoughts. I knew that already. But when people would say, oh, it's normal, it's not normal to feel that way in my mind. And I don't know, maybe you have a different opinion, but to me, like, having thoughts that I was a failure just because I didn't want to do the dishes within that hour, like that was not okay. That's not a normal thought to have. Or to feel like I was a failure if I didn't put my stickers in my planner and plan out the next week. Like, that's not okay. You're not a failure just because you can't do or don't want to do. It's not necessarily that you can't do it. Maybe you just don't feel like doing it, and that does not make you a failure. We are human. We need to take time for ourselves. And I have really had to teach myself that again. I feel like throughout, I mean, I could do a whole video on this honestly, but throughout my entire college career, I pushed myself really hard. Even in high school, I pushed myself very hard to be very organized and on top of things. And I feel like a lot of times I put too much pressure on myself to be the best that I could possibly be, because that's what I felt like I needed to do. I've always been told, you know, when you do something, give it your best shot. And I still think that's true. Like, if you're going to do something, give it your best shot. But I was pushing myself that my best still was not my best to me, if that makes sense. Like, I would give it my best, but if I did not get the absolute best grade, like if I did not get a 100 on a test, or if I did not get chosen to be whatever, I would have a problem with it. Like, I felt like I failed if I got a 98 on a test and not 100, I felt like I failed. Like, even though a 98 is great, like that's a really good grade to get on something, especially in college. I felt like I was a failure though. So I don't know. I say all of that just to be open and vulnerable with you guys that my life is not perfect. Nobody on social media's life is perfect, and you guys know that already. But it's okay if you're dealing with those feelings. Talk to somebody about it. I know at first when we first brought Gatlin home, I did not want to talk to anybody about how I was feeling. I felt like a failure, but I felt like if I just did a little bit more, then I would feel better. And that's like the farthest from the truth. Had I just stopped, like I said earlier, I would have felt better immediately, I think, had I stopped trying to push myself so hard. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't want to talk to anybody about it at first, and I know exactly how you feel if you don't want to talk to anybody about it, but talk to somebody. It makes it feel a lot better. I finally opened up to Jeremiah about how I had been feeling for the past year prior to having Gatlin, and then once we had him, I finally just got to my breaking point, and I just started crying and told him exactly how I felt. And it was hard. It was hard to open up to somebody and admit that I, again, felt like I was a failure. I felt like since I was having to tell somebody, I was even more of a failure because I couldn't deal with it myself. I don't know. Maybe you guys have never felt like that. Maybe that's just me and how it portrayed in me. But either way, I am doing a lot better now. It has been a long 2 months in that regards, just to how mental health has been going and everything. But as of today, I feel a lot better. I'm still on my medication for it, and I don't know how long I will stay on it. Obviously, I hope that's not for everything. I don't think it is. My doctor said that I would be able to come off of it. But I am doing so much better. I feel like I'm in such a better place mentally right now. I really am truly enjoying my life again, and just very thankful and grateful for everyone around me. And I just cannot thank God enough for giving me all of these people around me as my like little tribe, giving me you guys, because a lot of you guys have reached out to me through YouTube and on Instagram, just checking in to see how we're doing and checking on Gatlin and just checking on me. So I don't know. I'm not going to ramble about it anymore, but I just wanted to be open and vulnerable with you guys and share a true how we've been doing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you could find something helpful in it, maybe for yourself in the future or right now or whatever it might be. But if you have any comments or anything, definitely leave them down below. I try to be a pretty open book with you guys as usual, and I will continue to do that. So if you have any questions or anything, leave them down below. If you just need somebody to talk to that's somebody outside of your normal life, DM me on Instagram, guys. I will totally listen to what you have to say and give you my best advice that I can. I've done that for people before, and I know personally it can be beneficial to listen to somebody who's completely separated from your situation, that has a completely different life somewhere else. I know that that can be helpful. So if you just need somebody like that to chat with, DM me on Instagram, guys. I'm no judgment. I will just give you my best advice. I'll just listen and tell you what I think. So either way, I'm going to stop rambling and let you guys go. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you did, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right. Bye, guys.